Hello, Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we officially launch Missing Persons Mondays. Okay, so we'll continue to cover every Monday missing persons cases. Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to see you in the chat. It's so nice to see all the members. If you see anyone's names highlighted, I think it's in green on my screen. It's in green. But their names will be highlighted and they'll be able to use special emojis and things. Those are my members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I think right now there's more members here than not. And if they've got a little wrench next to the name, those are my mods. Thank you so much to my mods and my special ops team for being here too. I'm covering 3 cases today. We're going to deep dive them. As you know, it's presentation time. I couldn't help it, okay? It's just how I roll. I hope you enjoy the show. So I'm going to already now. Make sure if you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. Oh, see, that's what content creators say. Put a 1 in the chat instead of saying, can you hear me? Makes more sense if you put a 1 in the chat. Okay. And while we're doing that, I just wanted to say thank you so much again to all my patrons and members who joined me yesterday for a Grizzly VIP party. If you want, okay, I see all the ones. If you want to be part of that for the next one, all you got to do is join either Patreon or YouTube membership, and the lowest tiers are $1. And you get so much content, okay? So I look forward to that as well. So Leo says 4. No, I got to think about this. So Leo, can you hear me? Okay, yes, yeah. Yesterday was so much fun, right? Oh, my word. You guys got to ask me anything. So that was really, really fun. Hello to Chris from The Monsters Under Our Bed. I'm going to be on his show tomorrow. I can't wait. We're going to be talking about the Delphi case. If you haven't seen my Delphi coverage yet, there's a whole playlist for it. And now I'm going to be talking with Chris about it too. Okay, and hello to Rob. If you guys follow me on Twitter, Rob voted me for he voted me into not a competition. It's a share of photography, like a photograph or an image every single day for 10 days. So I'm busy with that, which I'm really enjoying as well. So thank you so much. Are we ready to dive into these missing persons cases? Okay. Yoo-hoo, from Aurora. Now, where is Aurora? Is that in Minnesota? Aurora. Okay. Breathe in. Here we go. Okay, so it's presentation time. I'll take the banner off for now so that we don't distract ourselves. I'll put find Vladek's ones. This is the number. I'll put it up in a moment too. Let's just first get through the presentation, okay? Please hit the thumbs up as well while you are here. Hello to Desert Deb. So nice to see you in the chat. Welcome, welcome. And thank you, Doodlebag Lori, for shouting out the mods. That's awesome. Okay, so I will do it like this again. So today we're looking at the case of Bryan Vladek. I would like to say Hazel, but it's Hasel. Hasel is how they say it. He's 23. So age 23. I think he was 22 when he went missing, and now he's 23. Eyes blue, height 5'8", weight between 210 and 230 pounds, hair color brown. Okay, missing from Orlando, Florida. Last seen by his family. Why is this it's like not playing this little video part? Last seen by his family. Damn. Sorry, I can see it's not playing there. Welcome to membership, Delphine's Handcrafted. You can watch the replay from yesterday to see all the questions that were asked as well. If you do want to see that on the members only playlist, there's lots of content for you to catch up on there as well. All right, so let's just play it. Oh, there we go. Last seen by his family on November 5th, 2021. I've seen this case covered a lot on Twitter. I've been very interested in covering it for the longest time. And this is why I've launched these Missing Persons Case Awareness Mondays, so that we could just focus on missing persons cases on Mondays. Because otherwise I find I do like a YouTube short or a quick video here, or I mention it there. And I really just want to concentrate on it. And I really want to, I want to do my best to spread awareness in these cases. So Vladek is of Russian descent, and he and his sister were adopted by a caring family in the USA when he was 5 years old. He's one of 8 siblings in a blended family. Vlad, that's what he's known as by his family. Vlad served in the Marine Corps for a long time. It wasn't a great fit for him, and he was honorably discharged in September 2019. Later, I will cover this because I know you might have questions already, because I also had questions of like, why was he discharged? But it's because he worked a desk job there. That's the position they put him in. And he's a busybody from what I hear from the family. I've watched all the interviews and read up as much as possible on this case. And for him, like sitting still, I mean, I would also feel like that, actually. I'm just like that. I'm here, okay, doing this YouTube thing and I make the presentations, but I'm a busybody. I got to get up all the time. So, I just feel like if he was in the Marines and he had this dream, young guy joining the Marine Corps, like to then be put in a desk job, yeah, I can imagine that would be like, oh man. So they said it wasn't a great fit for him and he was honorably discharged. As I say there, this was terrible for him because he'd always dreamed of being a Marine. He's known as a very kind, caring, and spiritual person who often helps local homeless populations. In fact, he's been described as helping like anyone that he comes across. If he meets someone, he wants to know your life story. He wants to get to know you, wants to see if you're struggling, can he help? I mean, he sounds like an empath, a really nice guy. So to think that he's just disappeared since November, wow, that is, again, you guys know how I feel about this. I cannot accept that people can just vanish from the face of the earth in 2022. There's so much. This is why we want to share information, because that's all it takes. Just information sharing. Hopefully someone comes forward with dash cam footage, camera footage from their security cameras, or they spotted him somewhere, or they're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that. So please do hit the share button. I would really, really appreciate it if you could share it wherever you can. Share the clips, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want. Reddit as well. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay. Also, if the family's watching, because I would assume they would be, please know you are so, so welcome here in the Grizzly community. We've got your back. We totally support you, and we will continue to shine a light on Vladek's case. Made it just listening to yesterday's VIP chat on the floor. I'm glad you liked it. It was really a lot of fun. Okay, so he's known as a very kind, caring person. Okay, he loves to play basketball and frequented the gym. However, his family said that, recently in the last few months, like maybe 3 to 6 months or so, they said he kind of slowed down in the basketball, which makes sense because he was, as we see at the bottom there, struggling a bit with depression, which I think we can all relate to. He goes by the name Vladek or Vlad, although his last sighting revealed that he was going by Bryan to those he was interacting with at this coffee shop, which we'll get into. We are going to do map time for every single case I'm covering today as well. These are all big cases that have been covered quite a lot on Twitter, I see, but not all that much on YouTube or, in the news and things like that. Thankfully, Bryan Enton was on this one. Thank goodness. That was recent. So yeah, we just got to keep shining the light. Vladek suffered from depression and was talking about archangels and demons. He was hyper-focused on religion, as his sister described it, before his dad left for his trip. All right. What's up, Claire? What's up, Lorraine? So the timeline. In the weeks leading up to his disappearance, his family said that he was doing a lot of outreach work and was leaving large tips up to $300 sometimes at the places he frequented. So he would often go for like meals with his dad, and then he would really want to leave a big tip. And his dad supported that completely because, Vladek had such a big heart, and he wanted him to feel like he has purpose, of course. And yes, you can contribute, and yes, you can help people. So Vladek was living with his dad at the time when he disappeared, and his dad was financially supporting him because he, got discharged from the military. And then guess what hit? I don't want to say that. I'm going to say panoramic. You all know what I mean. The Rona hit. And I think it made everyone very depressed in general. So to think of actually being discharged from the Marine Corps, which was your dream, now you're kind of like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? And now everything shuts down. I mean, it's really sad, So anyway, so there's that. Just keep that in mind. So on November 5th, 2021, Vladek was last seen by his family at their home in the area of Alafaya Trail and McKay Boulevard in Orlando, Florida. While he was at home, he did not have a car because it was in the repair shop, and of course the dad went on the trip. His father returned from the trip 10 days later and found Vladek's, I'll put it like this for a second, his cell phone and personal belongings in the apartment. We'll get more into that in a moment, but there was no sign of his son. You're asking how old he is again? 23. Only 23. Right? I feel so bad for his dad. He's done everything for Vlad. He's such a nice man, it seems. Right? Yes, I've watched all the interviews. I've seen all the Twitter pages and everything. There is a link in the description box as well. It's a tiny URL link so that you can have all the links to follow this case on all social media platforms. Hello to Rochelle Pronzo. So nice to see you. Okay. He would have been so great working with the homeless population. He's special. There is speculation that he could have integrated into a homeless camp right now, or he could be off-grid. We just don't know. Okay. So let's continue on. Sorry for the delay there. On November 6th, he was seen at Foxtail Coffee, Collegiate Way, Orlando. His family has said that the police issued Vladek with a trespassing warning. He allegedly had a pocket knife on the table, and it made some people uncomfortable, which is when the police were called. So I was watching the Lorden Arts interview with the family today, and they were saying what happened was on November 5th, he had gone in the evening to this Foxtail coffee place. That was his favorite place. He used to go there 3 times a week for about a year. And he made someone in there uncomfortable. Sometimes he'd put his, headphones on and listen to music and sing along or whatever, just like be a normal dude. And here and there, some people didn't like it. Okay. I think they sound like, I don't want to say Karens because we love Karens, you know what I mean? But, like a Karen type, like what do we call them? Anyway, so complainers. So they were like, no, we don't like that. So that's kind of what happened on the 5th. And then on the 6th, he went back there in the morning for coffee again. So there is some speculation of, did he even go home that night? He would have stayed alone because his dad left for the trip. But he was back there right when the coffee shop opened. And that is when this coffee shop, which here in the Netherlands we call cafe, because coffee shop means something completely different. Anyway, more on that in my members only videos. I talk a lot about that and show you guys around. So, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. So this was his favorite place, right? And according to the family, when he went there, he had no idea that this dude the night before had reported him and that there would be a trespassing warning. So can you imagine how heartbreaking that was when he goes to his favorite place in the morning? Maybe he stayed up all night. We don't know. Going in there for coffee, that's his go-to place. That's his anchor. And they serve him that day with a trespassing warning, saying you may never come back here because you made someone uncomfortable because you had a pocket knife on the table. He apparently got this pocket knife in the weeks before his disappearance, and he told his dad it was for protection. I mean, again, can't fault that. You know how I feel about that. I want that. Can't even have pepper spray in this country. My word. Karens and Darrens. My word. Okay. So there is CCTV footage of him from that day, but Foxtail has not released it to the family or the police. In fact, all they did was show the family a screenshot, which I don't understand why. Why can't you release it? Why? The police say they also haven't got it. Why? What's so secretive there? Oh, my word. On November 12th. So now, remember this date because follow along with the timeline. And if you need to pause or look at it again at any point, watch the replay, take notes, do your thing. Let's share as much as possible, right? On November 12th, he was last seen near the basketball courts and woods by a maintenance worker at his apartment, which was called The Place, where he was living with his father. Now, the thing is, the maintenance guy said, oh yeah, I saw him last week Friday. But it could have been Friday, November 5th. There is room for error in his statement. There is some lost in translation. But he said last Friday, and when he said it, last Friday means November 12th. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. He was wearing a black hoodie, khaki shorts, and red slide sandals. He's not been seen or heard from by his family since November 5th. He's known to frequent restaurants and businesses in or on University Boulevard and Alafaya Trail. That is true, Marielle. Wait, in Australia, it's illegal to carry any kind of weapon for self-defense, not even a pocket knife. Same here in the Netherlands. Exactly the same. It's kind of hectic for those of us who struggle with PTSD stuff. We feel like we want protection. Even just pepper spray would be great, but no, we cannot have that. So like, oh, okay. Anyway, so I guess we'll carry our keys around, isn't it? So apparently here there was also a no weapon policy in this coffee shop, which is why they were able to issue him with a trespassing warning, or what did I call it? Like to never go back there again. Wow. Okay. So this is a view of the inside of his favorite coffee shop. I put him there because he loved to be there. I can see why. I mean, he loved hanging out there. That's what it looks like from the outside as well. It's a whole franchise. There's a lot of these all over the country from what I can see. So yes. Ooh, in Switzerland, Swiss Army knives are allowed. Very nice. Yeah, a car key in the eye is handy. Yes. Okay, so Vladek's dad is Steve, and Jody Hazel is Vlad's sister. He, as you can see, he's a family of 8 siblings. So there are other pictures, but I just put these 2 on because they're the best pictures I could find, and they've been extremely active on social media as well. They said, thank you, Brian Enton and News Nation, for sharing Vladek's story, missing from East Orlando since November 2021. So Brian Enton from News Nation covered Vladek's story in May. There have been reported sightings of Vladek at homeless camps and at a 7-Eleven, but unfortunately, Vladek has not been found yet. So those are reported sightings that have not really panned out yet. But there is very high hope that he's alive and just either off-grid or in a homeless camp or something like that. Or even they say there's speculation he joined a religious group or something like that. So we're going to continue just looking at the facts in this case, and I'll show you the News Nation interview. On a News Nation special, Vladek's sister, Jody, said that he was struggling with depression and trying to find purpose since he was discharged from the Marines. He became hyper-focused on religion and was reaching out to homeless communities, determined to help anyone in need. He spent a lot of his free time at the Foxtail coffee shop. After the incident on November 12th, he was told he could no longer come back there. So not on November 12th, that's not right. On November 12th, wait. It was actually on November 6th. I don't know why I wrote November 12th there. Sorry, typo, November 6th. His dad's first thought was that he had a mental breakdown because of this. And he said, and his level of depression to start with, his dad said, and maybe he went out there into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there. So he did one time think of just going out there, which we'll look at the maps as well. And he just thought of going out there. There's some woods like nearby his house there. He would actually sometimes cut through those woods to get to the coffee shop. It would be just as the crow flies, like A to B, straight to the coffee shop. And, so saying, and maybe he went out there into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there is interesting to consider. The Orange County Sheriff's Department call Vladek's disappearance an open and active investigation and would not appear for media interviews. So Brian Enton could not interview them. A letter opener and a pencil can be used as a weapon. Oh, yes. I've got a lot of creative things in my bag when I'm walking around. I feel you. I want to hear from his bio sister. If they were so close, isn't she front and center of the search? She is. Okay, so here Vladek's story has been featured on Lord and Arts, the family's latest interview. I'd highly recommend checking that out. Fox 35 Orlando, Nerdy Addict on Twitter, News Nation, Missing Persons Podcast, Missing on Monday Podcast, WESH2 News, Frankie Rose's Crime Time, Sleuth Mom, Still Speak Podcast, and a few more. Please keep sharing his story. We would love for lots of people to share this case and just keep it in the limelight. That's the worst thing that can happen, is for the media attention to go cold on these cases. It helps if we keep, the wheel squeaking along. Oh, I see. Not I'll be frank. No, the bio sister hasn't spoken on it. That's the adoptive sisters. Oh, damn. I've seen two of them. Yes. And I saw them on Lord and Arts. Okay. The bio sister hasn't spoken. Interesting. Very interesting. You never know what kind of anxiety she might have. You never know what the reason might be, but I hear you. So these are all the places where you can learn more about the case and keep up to date with it as well. TikTok at Find Vladek Hasel or Hasel. Instagram, same. Reddit, same. Twitter, same name. So that's really great. So it's easy to find everywhere. The nameless account number for Vladek's case is #MP88167. You can call the OCSO with any information, 407-836-4357. So if you know anything, if you see something, say something. If you know anything, please say something. There's a reference number as well, and there's a Facebook group as well. Additional notes. So news reports have said that Vladek was last seen walking into the woods near his home based on what the maintenance workers said. However, his family said it was not quite translated correctly. He had not been spotted walking into the woods. It's just something the maintenance guy said, oh yeah, I saw him there like near the woods, but he's just actually said, you should check the woods, because Vladek did like hanging out in the woods to either smoke or sing or just hang out there. It was kind of like his nature time. So that is why he said you should check the woods. The family had a trip to Tennessee for his sister Bethany's birthday. In case you wonder, what was the trip all about? He did often actually say, I'm just going to stay at home. You guys go. It wasn't the first time. His dad traveled between November 5th and 15th. He actually intended to return home on November 16th, but he came back on November 15th. And he had asked Vladek to bring in an Amazon package that was to be delivered. When he returned home, the package was still on the doorstep. The hashtag NerdBirdMafia on Twitter helped raise funds to have billboards put up in Orlando, Florida, to spread awareness for Vladek's case. So you can see the billboard behind me here. And Lamar Advertising put up 11 billboards in hopes of finding Vladek through credible tips. The family has emphasized that the Vlad they know would not hurt himself in any way. The knife from the Foxtail coffee shop incident was found in the apartment. Vladek bought it for about $60 in the weeks leading up to his disappearance. And as I said, he told his dad it was for protection. Exactly, the dad. Sorry, I'm just going to put this comment on. Cat Lover says his dad had a hearing problem. That's why the misunderstanding with the janitor. Exactly, with the maintenance guy, right? Is that what you call? Is it janitor, just general maintenance guy? But maintenance guy at this apartment complex. The dad was hard of hearing, and that's what he understood by it at first. But when Vlad's siblings heard it, they're like, "Oh no! He just said check the woods." Okay. Wasn't there something with Nerdy with that case? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if there was or wasn't. He did cover it a lot. So I'm not too sure, you know? He covered it. The former FBI agent as well, which is, I think, part of the group, did some TikToks on it and things like that. So, yeah, there was some group coverage, and there was raising of money for billboards and things like that, and that's about as far as I know. So, yes. How about a nail file? This is also the question I have. I wonder what or who it was that he was scared of that he suddenly decided to carry and show a knife with him. However, maybe it could have even been, a little bit of psychosis or very strong, as they said, like he got hyper focused on religion. Maybe it was even from supernatural things in his mind. You just don't know. All right. So Vladek's dad said that the food that he'd stocked up on for him before the trip was mostly still in the apartment when he returned. So his question is like, what was he eating in those 10 days if he was still kind of in the home? Before his disappearance, Vladek had been asking what the purpose of life was if one could just go to heaven. He also asked whether taking one's own life would still mean you could go to heaven. And he said, what if I just go into the woods and I lay down and die? So, see, these are unfortunately, of course, mental health red flags. But in all these cases, even if someone has mental health red flags, it doesn't mean that something else didn't happen, or that he decided to, I'm just going to go off grid or join another group or live in a homeless encampment. You just don't know. Vladek was allegedly considering going to live off grid, and there's speculation that he may have joined a religious group. Someone living in the apartment complex allegedly spoke with him. Now, this is interesting. At 3 a.m. on November 15th. Where Vladek asked if he could stay with him. And then he said, no, I've got a wife and kids. I'm sorry. So then he said, oh, okay, I'm going off grid. That is interesting. And again, it's kind of a little bit up in the air because it's just what's reported. Even the family wasn't sure about exactly who that was and if that really happened. But that's what the guy who lived in the apartment, some guy said. Note, he was discharged from the Marines in September 2019. This was classified as failure to adapt. He did not enjoy having a desk job. Then the Rona hit, so this must have been a really tough time for him either way. His family said that he was known to smoke marijuana occasionally, and a smoke store had reported knowing him as a client. So, yeah, the family has said maybe, I don't know, maybe he smoked something or took something that could have made him experience some psychosis or a mental health break or something like that. It's just something they consider, and I really appreciate that the family in this case really keeps all doors open. They consider everything because they really just want to find him, right? A red slide shoe, so like a slider, was found in the woods by police. It's not been confirmed to be Vladek's, but it does match the same type of shoes that he was wearing in the Foxtail surveillance video. The family has only ever seen a screenshot of this video, as I say. So they said they're not sure if it was his shoe, but it is a bit of a scary thought to think that he was wearing red sliders and one red slider was found in the woods. That is quite scary. Now, May 24th, his dad, Steve Hasel, said, CUE, right, the Center for Missing Persons, has established with the Orange County Sheriff's Office the dates for a search of the large wooded area near my apartment. They will be here June 25th and June 26th. Very hopeful this area, which includes almost 400 acres, can be ruled out. Really hope so. The woods hasn't really been thoroughly searched yet, so that's a scary thought. I mean, it's just when asked why hasn't it been, the family said, well, the police said you can't interfere with the investigation. So it hasn't, that to me is like, oh man, that's like such a, what do you call it? Like a vulnerability that they haven't searched the woods thoroughly yet. So yes. Oh, thank you. Soleo says, thanks for bringing this case to the Grizzlies. Grizz, it's my absolute pleasure. Sounds like he was struggling to find his place in the world. Yes, and that is what his family described. Like he thought his purpose was like being part of the Marine Corps. That's what he's going to do. So when that didn't really work out, that really hit him hard, Yes. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this either. I'm not sure. I just know that he did some good work in it, raise funds, set up the billboard. So at the end of the day, you know what? Even if there's beef, even if something happened, I really appreciate that there were billboards put up and that funds were raised and that awareness was spread. So I try to focus on that. Yes. Lorraine, you got to say hi to Nightbot. Okay, so do you have any information? You can call 407-254-7000, and you can also use the hashtag #FindVladek. This is another number, 407-836-4357. So if you know anything, if you see anything, especially in the Florida area, but you just never know, just look out, keep an eye out everywhere. Yes. Depression is a very tough thing to climb out of, and it can be very isolating. Absolutely. And I do have experience with this. And once you go into that very dark space mentally, it's actually really difficult to get out of it. And the more you're in it, it's even worse because you tend to then isolate yourself and not reach out, for help and things like that. But it's always important to remember, from a healthier state of mind now, I could say it's really important to reach out, to communicate with your friends, with your family, with whoever you can. Call someone. There's always help. Even if it feels like, oh man, I don't want to bother anyone or whatever, there's always help available. And yeah, depression is a beast. It's not just an attitude problem, as some people might think. It's actually really a beast to deal with. Yes. We love this joke, Lorraine. And you're not the only one, huh? Some people are like, hey, Nightbot, bye. Exactly. Miss Stewie, depression is overwhelming and consuming. I do not have an email or a message from you yet, Miss Stewie. Miss Stewie, yesterday in the VIP party, won either a card or a personal video from me. We do these like little giveaways at these Grizzly VIP parties. If you want to be part of that, you know what to do. Okay. Yes, exactly. Experience with it, it's not easy. Depression is not easy. I used to really be one of those like positive mindset people, like a yes woman, and you just, oh man, that's so not what it's about. Depression is a beast, I'm telling you. I've noticed that cycle lasts for 3 days. I'm speaking about family members. Sometimes it can last for even longer. Like clinical depression can last for months and months and months. And then there's also this thing of seasonal depression, and this was November. Never mind the Marine Corps thing in this case, and then the Rona and all this, and just feeling like maybe hope is lost and you're trying to contribute and help people. That can also feel hectic. Huh? When you're trying to help, but you're like, oh my word, there's so many people to help. There's so much, loss, misery, sadness in this world. It could just make it worse. And then there's also seasonal depression as well, which is a thing. Didn't know about it in South Africa. And when I moved to Europe, I'm like, oh, damn, it's a thing because of winter and just how long it can be dark. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you, Miss Julie. I didn't see it yet. Okay. So now I'm going to show you. I just want to see if that's the last slide for this case. And then we are still covering 2 more cases today. So hang in there. This is the next one we'll cover, Elnaz Hajtamiri, also known as Elnaz Tamiri. But first, I want to show you this.
Tonight in our Missing series, the disappearance of a young veteran from Florida. A lot of you have reached out to us about this case. Bryan Vladek Hasel vanished 6 months ago. His father says the last time he saw his 22-year-old son was when they were packing up for a trip out of state for his sister's birthday. Bryan decided not to go on that trip. Well, when his dad returned home, Bryan was gone and his cell phone had been left behind. Correspondent Brian Enton spent most of the past few days in Orlando digging into this story for us. Brian, the family is obviously desperate for answers right now. What stood out to you as you started to follow the clues that had been left behind?
Well, a few things stood out, Marnie. First of all, Vladek is just a really nice guy, according to everyone we spoke to. He's the kind of person who would smile at strangers on the street, start up conversation with strangers. He would pick up homeless people and take them out to dinner or help them pay their bills. But
oh my word, isn't that the sweetest?
He was also complicated, like so many of us. He suffered from depression and he disappeared.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
I'm Brian.
Steve.
Hi, nice to meet you. When we got to Bryan Vladek Hasel's Orlando apartment, his dad and two sisters were waiting, desperate for any help.
Happy birthday, dear Vladek. Happy birthday to you.
They're desperate to find the missing 23-year-old Marine who vanished in November of last year. What's life like for you right now, not knowing?
I wake up sometimes at night and think he's standing by the bed. Kind of realize, I was just dreaming. I have trouble sleeping at night. I talk to God a lot.
Steve Hasel adopted Vladek from a Russian orphanage when he was just 5 years old. He has 7 siblings, and after high school, joined the Marines. He was honorably discharged, and his family says he's had his ups and downs and bouts of depression that trace back to his childhood in Moscow. Vladek's dad went out of town on November 5th. It's the last time the family saw Vladek.
I was really worried because I was thinking about his mental health, and I know my dad had mentioned some concerns that he had about his behavior and some of the stuff he was saying. He was very hyper focused on religion, talking about archangels and demons the night before my dad left.
Vladek would talk to anyone and was known to help homeless people with rides and money.
He had been
And sometimes you can help the wrong people. I know we've all experienced that, where you actually are so helpful and you just meet people who seem harmless, but then they turn out to be the most evil creatures, right? Yesterday, how is Brian not a real person? We love Brian Enton on this channel, so if you don't, just know you're in the minority here. You're welcome to your opinion. But we love Brian Enton.
Been really struggling with finding his purpose in life after leaving the Marines, and with reaching out to the homeless community. I feel like that really gave him a purpose.
This Orlando coffee shop was where Vladek spent most of his time. He was known for pacing there, and his family says a customer accused him of having a pocket knife on the table he was sitting at, which caused the manager to call the police. They told him he couldn't come back. That was right before he vanished in November.
My first thought was he had a mental breakdown because of what happened with the coffee shop and his level of depression to start with, and that maybe he went off into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there.
In a lot of our missing stories, police are willing to do interviews, but the Orange County Sheriff's Office said detectives would not be available to talk with us. They're calling Vladek's disappearance an open and active investigation and say they continue to follow up on tips. Vladek lived near the University of Central Florida, and there are flyers up all around his apartment complex. A social media group known as the Nerdbird Mafia pushed for these electronic billboards in Central Florida, hoping someone has information.
I'm a reporter. We're doing a story about Bryan Vladek. Are you the maintenance man who saw him?
In the apartment complex, the maintenance workers knew Vladek because he walked around the neighborhood at night and smiled at everyone. His family thinks he may have had a mental breakdown and could be in a massive wooded area behind the complex.
But there is a kind of an opening back in here that he would go back. He could get back in there a ways, but it's overgrown with palmetto bushes and trees.
Not knowing what happened is pure agony.
But I need to know, and I keep telling God, just tell me, where is he? Is he all right? Is he here or is he with you? And that's very hard.
And there have been some reported sightings of Vladek. Someone said they may have seen him at a homeless camp. There was also a possible sighting at a 7-Eleven, but at this point, none of that has panned out. Marnie?
And that's that. I may have to clip that out later. I'm not sure. Sometimes I get, because I didn't talk at all in between now. So like copyright strikes and things. So if you don't see it in the replay, just know that it's in the description box. I will pin it afterwards, okay? Amy says, I like Enton, but the company he works for is suing J is for Justice. The one time I was in the chat for J is for Justice and someone said, oh my word, Grizzly True Crime. Do you know Grizzly True Crime? And she said, no, I only know real true crime channels. So that was my first impression. That's my first impression right there. I was like, oh, damn. So I'm hoping that they're going to search in those words. Maybe they even find him living off grid. I don't know. I hope he could survive out there. It's been a long time. I mean, even mid-November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Now we're in June, almost 7 months later. This is terrible. Yes. I think there's a question I wanted to answer. How long did he serve in the Marines? I believe they said a couple months. I'm not too sure. He did his basic training and then he was put at the desk job and then he was let go, yes. So I just want to see if there's anything else that I have to share with you here. While I'm at it, this merch range exists on my store, and 20% of all proceeds will be donated towards helping families struggling to find their loved ones. So maybe we'll do like a poll or vote or do something. I'm not too sure yet how we'll pick it, but we'll find a family that really needs our help and donate if you do buy this merch. So yeah, there's a whole range to choose from as well, as you can see. I've made a lot of options for you to choose from, so there's that as well. Okay, I just want to make sure, let's just close this before we move on to the next case. I would also follow them on Twitter if I were you, if you are on Twitter, and then let's all tweet the hell out of it and keep it going. All right. Okay, you love the design. Okay, cool. Thanks, Leo. I think Rob has got the very first... He's the first person to have something from that collection. So thank you so much, Rob. He sent me a picture and everything. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Well, I don't know if she said that. Yeah. You know what? There's this quote I heard the other day that says, it doesn't matter how good people's intentions are, good or bad. It's the emotional impact that they have on you sometimes. That's what the lasting feeling is, right? And I've realized, oh, no wonder. Because sometimes I can't put into words, how I feel about stuff. But that was just like, oh man, because I was there supporting, chatting. I was in the chat and someone's like, do you know Grizzly True Crime? And it's like, no, I only associate with real true crime channels. Okay. And I'm like, whoa, damn. Okay. Like, I'll excuse myself. Yes. So yes, that's the case of Bryan Vladek Hasel. And I hope that you guys will help me in continuing to share the story. As I say, the family is always invited to come and talk on the show as well. Share anything. If I got anything wrong, I know there was that one typo there. If I got anything wrong, if you want to add anything, you are most welcome. If you don't feel comfortable being on the show, just if you want to send me a video, then I'll play it for everyone. Anything like that is possible. Okay, yes. Gizmo, you are right. I like being called Gizmo. Yes. Okay, so are we ready for the next one? So hectic. Oh, no. No, it's map time, everyone. It's map time. So I am going to play my map time song. Let's do it. All right, and I'm back. So if we look here, I've got map time for each case we're covering today. We are going to be a little bit over an hour. I'm just letting you know because I would love to just make sure we cover all the details here. So the place at Alapaya, I hope I'm saying it right. He lived at the place, at this complex, right? And you can see he often spent time at these basketball courts. He really liked playing basketball there in the months leading up to his disappearance. Not so much because I understand, he was struggling with depression. So then that is a warning sign. It's a red flag. If you see someone that you love, just like, or anyone, friend, family, just like stopping doing all the things they once loved so much, that's already a sign to just ask if they're okay. We also do have a range for mental health awareness, by the way. It's called Grizzlies Keep Going. And I find it motivates me a lot as well, because I know that when I feel really low, I've got all of you guys. And I hope we all know we all got each other's backs, okay? So that's what that means. It's got like a semicolon, which means your story is not over yet. My story is not over yet. We're all going to be here, okay? Together. So the place at Alafaya is here. And he would, like, I mean, if you do the little map walking to Foxtail Coffee, it's right up here. It's right up here. But you could see he would actually, apparently, they could just like go into the woods here and he could cut right through like this. So they've shared a map like this on Twitter where he could literally cut right through like this. I don't know if you go left or right of this little dam here. But let's say you cut through like this, keep it going right through the woods straight to Foxtail Coffee. So that is where he was. And Foxtail Coffee, if you're watching, if you could please release the footage to the family, that would be nice. Thanks. Because why the hell not? What on earth is the reason for keeping it? If we put the little Google man there, I mean, if that was my loved one and they've got footage, man, I'm going to get some trespassing warnings there too, because I'll be there every single day. Like, hello, can you maybe release the footage? So this is Foxtail Coffee Co. That's what it looks like. And they've got footage of when Vladek was there on the 5th and the 6th, especially of the 6th. Wow. Yes. It's a hard no for me. Very large college community. That's true as well. It's very close to, is it called UFC? Oh man. But it's a very large college community. Yes, it is. So yeah, this is the coffee shop. If we look around, where you were seen on November 5th, and then again in the morning on the 6th, where then he's not been seen again besides the person in the complex saying that he saw him on the 15th. That's allegedly. But since the 12th, since he got issued with that trespassing warning, gone. That crushed him. Yes, UCF. Thank you so much. UCF. Yes. Whoa, I'm thinking they may be involved in the disappearance, Foxtail. Whoa. Well, keep saying things like that and maybe they'll show the damn footage. Yep, clear their name. Please, my word. I just can't. Apparently also because it was like a trespassing warning and the police were there and everything, the manager, from what I understood, filmed it. And then he actually, they don't usually keep surveillance footage, something like that. So he transferred it to his phone or to his personal hard drive or whatever. So he's got it. So why can't you show the family that? Even just for their peace of mind, even just to see, well, what was he actually literally wearing there? What did he do? What were the circumstances? It reminds me of the Daniel Robinson case when he went to the Waffle House the day before he disappeared. And the Waffle House won't release the footage. Like, what is that? What in the hell? You said the footage was released to law enforcement, but from what I read today, law enforcement said they also haven't got the footage. So I don't know. Is it? Yeah, release it if they're not guilty. They just got the family got a screenshot, which is like, oh, come on. That's why I treat people kind. You never know what they're going through personally. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to make myself bigger again and take this off. There we go. Now we move on to the next case. All right, so this one, thank you to everyone who's emailed me about this. I'm so glad I can finally get to cover this now as well. Are you ready for another deep dive? Okay. Maybe. To the Grizzlies need to write in. Always. The answer is always. Always. All right. So here we go to Elnaz Hajtamiri. Apparently, she also goes by the surname Tamiri. So Elnaz Tamiri or Elnaz Hajtamiri, 37. Iranian-born Elnaz was abducted on January 12th, 2022. Let me do this. At 8:30 p.m. by 3 black men dressed in police gear, but not in uniform. So I don't know what exactly that means. In police gear, okay, or like bulletproof vests, or what are you talking about? But not in uniforms, from Wasaga Beach in Canada. She's 37, 5'3", 160 centimeters, and a slim build. I quite like when they say slim build or medium build or heavy build instead of like the exact weight. You know, like sometimes the weight thing could be unrelatable. Of like, I mean, you have to look up what does 240 pounds look like, or 130 pounds, especially, of course, if you want global coverage. I mean, we work in kilograms over here, so I'm just like always converting, like what? So slim build, that makes sense. Shoulder length, black hair. Last seen wearing gray and black leggings and a long sleeve top. She was abducted from a relative's home. All right. Yes, we're looking at 3 missing persons cases today. 3. Let me know in the comments as well afterwards if it feels too intense to look at 3 at once. I just found that if we look at least, I mean, I deep dive these, so it's taking a little while. But if we look at a few of these in depth like this, we can really give them the coverage that they absolutely deserve. And there's so many missing persons cases that if I only did this on a Monday, we're not going to get through any of them. You know what I mean? So that's why I chose to do this. But let me know what you think, okay? I'm eager to know. And also, please go to my community tab and vote on the poll so that we can decide on which day I'm going to be doing the crime catch-ups. So Elnaz married a vet, okay? That word is always very hard for me. Veterinarian, a vet. Farnham Shapurifar in 2010, but he died in 2017. I couldn't find how he died or what, but maybe an illness or something. Elnaz used their savings to help build a school for young girls in an impoverished village in Iran in honor of her late husband. So this is a picture of her with her late husband. It sounds like a ransom thing, but then they didn't ask for any ransom. That's what's like absolutely baffling the police, right? She moved from Iran to Canada in 2018 and found work in the import-export shipping industry. She recently left her job to focus on building a cake-making business. She also volunteered for charitable organizations. Now the timeline. On December 21st, 2021, the police were called about an assault in an underground parking garage on King William Crescent in Richmond Hill. Elnaz was attacked with a frying pan and was taken to the hospital, where she was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at the time. Police located the suspect's stolen vehicle. So they located the vehicle and then realized, oh my word, it's stolen, in Toronto, and an arrest was made. York Regional Police say 23-year-old Riyasat Singh was arrested Wednesday and charged with attempted murder, attempted kidnapping, possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000, and mischief under $5,000. A search warrant for a second suspect is still active. Elnaz had been staying with a relative in the Wasaga Beach following the attack because she was scared. After this, she was attacked with a frying pan, almost died. They say non-life-threatening injuries, but yet you can see the guy that was arrested was charged with attempted murder. Okay, so that's why she was scared. She stayed with relatives then, and 3 weeks later, on January 12th, 2022, at 8:30 p.m., 3 men abducted her from her relative's home. Trigger warning. Whoa. Sorry. Thank you for saying that, Karen Lee. Trigger warning. Of course, this content is for adults only, and I will be showing the picture. It's not too graphic, but it is a horrible picture after her attack. I am going to show the picture. Okay, so just brace yourselves. Nerdy Bunny's right here to help out if anyone's feeling triggered. Nerdy Bunny says it's going to be okay. Okay. Yes, there was an instance before. That's the thing. Like, if we look at the timeline, that's why I love timelines. I'm like, wait. Let's just back it up. What happened, when, and how? So yes, so it was December 21st, and then 3 weeks later, on January 12th, she was abducted from her relative's home. Okay, so here's the picture. Hajtamiri suffered a head wound that required 35 to 40 stitches after she was beaten with a frying pan in her condo's underground parking garage. On the right-hand side, you can see the car that they then found. The guy in the car is, I believe, the one that they were arrested. The guy on the left, I think, is the other guy they're looking for, which I'll show you now again. So yes, this looked incredibly painful, and I mean, I think that's why he was charged with attempted murder. I don't think it's like, oh, she was just treated for, non-life-threatening injuries. Like, it seems life-threatening to me, but like, whoa, with a frying pan? Okay, I'm going on. Don't worry, Karen. We're moving right along now. So here you can see an arrest was made in assault of Elnaz Hajtamiri, Canada-wide warrant issued for a second man. So this picture right here next to me, police are searching for Harsh Deep Biner, 23, of Brampton for attempted murder, attempted kidnapping. So York Regional Police have arrested and charged Riyasat Singh, 23. So that's the one on the left that we saw. I think he's the one that was in the car. and they issued a Canada-wide arrest warrant for Harshdeep Binner, 23 of Brampton, right. So here you can see as well, that's also what they're sharing, hashtag bring Elnaz home, and they are sharing this Canada-wide warrant issued in connection for Elnaz Hajtamiri's assault. We are looking for Harshdeep Binner, 23 of Brampton. I'm going to put all the numbers on the screen at the bottom there now, so that you guys can see it. Now wait for this, Saleo. Wait till you see all these coincidences. We're about to deep dive now. Oh my word. Wait till you hear about the ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, what? Like, this is a red flag. Okay, so no ransom has been requested. Let me do this. Hold on, here I am. Nope. No ransom has been requested, and no one has heard from or seen Elnaz since she was forcibly taken from her relative's home on January 12th. The men who abducted her said that they had a warrant for her arrest. So that's how they knocked on the door, said they've got a warrant for her arrest. They had the police gear on, but then they dragged Elnaz out barefoot in the snow, threw her watch and cell phone in the snow, and took off in a white Lexus RX SUV. If you live in the area, please check your security cameras, because you just don't know what it caught. It could really honestly help a lot. Okay, so continuing on. All right, so here we go to this guy. Oh my word. Red flags all over the place. Mohammed Lilo, 34, is Elnaz's ex-boyfriend. I'm already going to say jealous much. Mohammed and Elnaz were in a romantic relationship that ended in October 2021. Back it up to the frying pan thing. That was in December. Okay, so they just broke up in October 2021. In December, she's attacked with a frying pan. But it gets worse. He was charged with criminally harassing her 9 days after her abduction. So let's figure that out. Mohammed had hired a private investigator around December 6th or 9th. The guy couldn't quite remember. To keep tabs on Elnaz. And then she was attacked on December 21st. And then she was abducted at a relative's house on January 12th. Coincidence? You know? Total red flag. Total. This is one of those that feels like if I can't have you, no one can. It feels like that, which is a very scary thought. All right. So to continue on, they say, it was organized and appears to be linked directly to the assault some 2 weeks prior, just before Christmas in Richmond Hill, said detectives. The PI, Gabriel Kojakaru, I hope I said that right, confirmed that Mohammed asked him to keep tabs on Elnaz at her Richmond home, and at the Wasaga Beach home, providing the addresses to monitor. A tracking device was found on a car that Elnaz had recently been leasing. 2 tracking devices had been previously discovered underneath her Lexus at dealerships when she took her car in for a service. This is just like, whoa, the red flags are everywhere. One of the sources said investigators with the firm conducted surveillance on January 10th and 11th, watching Elnaz outside the Wasaga Beach home where Hajtamiri was staying with relatives. An investigator, however, was called off on the morning of January 12th, the source said, the very same day that 3 men dressed in police gear forced their way into the house and abducted the 37-year-old Iranian immigrant. So there's all of that. So yes, the PI was hired to watch her. They watched her on the 10th and 11th. They confirmed that. And on the 12th, they were called off. Okay, so we're going to go more into that. Mareka, thank you so much for your €4.99 Euro super sticker. That's cool. I don't know if I've had a Euro one before. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's obsession. I mean, that is... Some are getting tracking devices on her cars? Oh my word. Okay, so to continue on, the PI must know more. Now, we'll get more into that in a moment. They say, this is the PI said he had another private investigator watching the home on the day of the abduction, but said the man left his shift by 6 p.m. just 2.5 hours before the abduction because he's diabetic and went to get food and take his insulin shot. So I'm supposing the people that abducted her were watching when the PI would leave. They were waiting for that moment. One source who was not authorized to speak told CBC News that another surveillance expert contracted by Investigations Plus, who had worked previous night shifts, was called off that morning. It's unclear why. When asked about the fact that no one was watching the home at the time of the abduction, Kojakaru, the PI, said it was just a coincidence. He said no one had specifically asked him to remove surveillance. Doodlebag Lori, thank you so much for your $3 super sticker. I love your... Wow, those the Grizzly notebooks? Oh, my word. Wait, what? Loving your profile picture. Yes. Thank you, little Pookie. Leave your DNA on the thumbs up. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, right. Convenient time to have taken a break. Oh, boy. What did the boyfriend do for work? Ricky, I don't know if he really did this, but he told the PI that he was a lawyer. So we're going to go on with that now. When Muhammad hired the PI, he said that his name was Nazar and that he was a lawyer from Montreal. The PI's research then, of course, found that Nazar was his middle name. I mean, to lie to a PI, that's so interesting. Maybe you're like, oh, well, he won't look at me. He will. He'll start there. But anyway, okay, so he told the PI that Elnaz had stolen $100,000 from him, and he wanted to find her to serve her with court papers. He later changed his story. I put that in red because all of us in true crime know, oh, damn, you changed your story? Yeah, that's red flag. As if there aren't enough red flags with this guy. Saying that he was looking for her because his brother had been shot. Mohammed then asked the PI to keep an eye on Elnaz and to let him know if she was ever traveling to Montreal, implying that she was dangerous. Kind of like, just keep an eye on her. And if you see her heading to Montreal, you'll let me know immediately. Like, okay. Kojakaru said that he and his investigators didn't do anything other than watch Hajtamiri and that he was unaware of any link to criminal activity. Apparently, you can, of course, legally just watch someone. A PI can do that. What's up, Bill? So nice to see you. Yeah, Stefan, right? Lying to a PI about his name. Red flag number 1. Love my Grizzlies. Yes. Yeah, exactly. The kidnappers could have waited. They could have waited for the PI to leave. They could have. All right. So we continue on. When the PI found out that Elnaz was abducted, he reported him to the police, and then that's how he got charged with criminal harassment. Just in case you wonder, how did the criminal harassment come about 9 days after she was abducted? It's because the PI reported him. Muhammad's family bailed him out, apparently $5,000 apiece, times 2 family members. His release conditions were that he was not allowed to contact Elnaz. But by then, I mean, they didn't even know where she was. Look at this guy. Okay, sources tell CBC News that Lilo had been to Hajtamiri's Richmond Hill residence many times and was also familiar with the Wasaga Beach home, having stayed there at least one night when the couple were dating. Kojikaru, the PI, said that he conducted surveillance at both the Richmond Hill condo and later at the Wasaga Beach home for a couple of days before she was kidnapped. What I find interesting is that, of course, she was living at the Wasaga Beach place already for a number of weeks. 3 weeks later, she was abducted. So why are they conducting surveillance at Richmond Hill if she'd already moved out and they knew that? You know what I mean? Wow, that felt like deja vu. I don't know why. Okay, Bell of Amherst, thank you so much for your $2.99 super sticker. Thank you for supporting the channel. All right. Yes, the monsters are now bed is a loyal grizzly. Yay! Mob crew. Mob crew in the house. Okay. It's weird, right? And look at him. He does look very jealous. I'm just saying. I'm going to take this banner off for a second. Some people say they get kind of like, I don't know, dizzy or something if I play it the whole time. I'll put it on again just now. Note, the only time that Elnaz left the Wasaga Beach home was to retrieve her car. So she was so scared she just stayed in the house, but then she had to go and get her car, computer, and phone from the police. On January 10th, 2 days later, she was abducted. Oh, my word. Ontario Provincial Police, so OPP, are yet to name any suspects or charge anyone with the abduction and do not know where Elnaz is. They fear for her safety and are concerned that she may have even been taken out of the country. Police are now searching for Harshdeep Binner, who was arrested in Edmonton in March, along with 2 other Ontario men for the theft of dozens of Ford F-150 pickup trucks in that city. A spokesperson for Edmonton Police told CBC News that the courts had released Binner pending a future court date. Oh, my word. They even had him. The second guy they're looking for, they had him for a bit. Police believe that the same people involved in the assault were either involved in the abduction or could identify those responsible. We have at least 5 different people responsible directly for these crimes, said Graham. Despite the number of people involved, we have received no information that would provide us with a definite link as to where the investigation should be headed. Thank you so much, Caroline, for your 99-cent super sticker and for being a member and a patron. I really, really appreciate your support. This we don't know, but they suspect that maybe. That's the thing. Out of the country might be that, yes. Yeah, these people are hectic all the way around. She was not safe, right? Susan B., welcome to membership. I hope you enjoy all the content. I need a few more members to launch some new emojis, by the way, guys. If you guys are wondering, where are some more emojis? Yes, it depends on how many members I have, how many emojis you can have. Just so you know, that's still pending, okay? I know you guys wanted a Fury one, I think you said. Okay, so, wow. I mean, to think that they say we have at least 5 different people responsible directly for these crimes, and despite the number of people involved, we have received no information that would provide us with a, I say definite, but it's probably definitive link, right? As to where the investigation should be headed. What? Yeah, a hectic. I think I used to have a hectic emoji. But yes, guys, if you are a member or a patron, especially on Patreon, send me a message there and let me know what emojis you would like. And if you like the color scheme of them here, if you want me to change it up again soon. So hashtag bring Elnaz home is the hashtag to use. I mean, she's absolutely stunning. Look at these pictures. They're so beautiful. And I really hope that she is alive and well. I fear for her safety. As the police said, these guys sound like terrible dudes. But let's continue to share her case. Hashtag bring Elnaz home. Her mother is absolutely distraught. She's done some interviews and I can see they translate them because they're not done in... I don't think she speaks English from what I could gather. But it's terrible to think that these 3 men just showed up, dragged her out barefoot in the snow, chucked her watch, chucked her phone, and drove off in an SUV. And there must be cameras around there. There must be in that area. Wasaga Beach, if you saw anything. Sorry, my hair is just stuck here. Okay, so do you have any information? So I don't need to put this number in the scroll now. Do you have any information? You can call 1-866-876-5423, extension 7250. If you're in the area, please screenshot this so it's easy to find or follow them on social media. Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. Or there's even a website where you can submit an anonymous tip at www.1-800-222-TIPS.com. Yes. So that is that, everyone. Let me just see if there's anything else that I have here on this case. This will be the next one we look at. So for now, let's remove this and I will put this on so we can just see this clip right here.
37-year-old Elnaz Hajtamiri disappeared.
Thank you so much, Desert Deb, for your $3 super sticker and for supporting the channel.
When she was forcibly removed, taken and abducted from a home in Wasaga Beach by 3 men who pretended to be police officers. They were wearing police gear. They were not wearing full uniforms. Police are now appealing to the public for any information that might lead to an explanation as to where she might be or who might have taken her.
We know.
Okay, so here we're going to hear from the OPP. Thank you so much, Karen Broderick, for your £5 super sticker. Wow, we've got all the currencies, dollars, pounds, euros today. Thank you so much. You say thank you for all you do, guys. Let's show some grizzly love, guys. Thank you so much.
Someone is out there who has information about Elnaz's whereabouts. Perhaps a friend, a contact, co-worker, or a member of any community or social group of which she was a party to. We want to hear from you, please. We need to hear from you.
Also, today, her family, her mother, made a video statement.
کمک فکریتون راهنماییتون از ما دریغ نکنید.
Background to this case now, and there's quite a lot of it. Back in December the 20th, Elnaz Hajtamiri, she was attacked.
December 21st.
In the garage, the underground garage of her condo in Richmond Hill. York Regional Police were involved in that case initially. They eventually released images of 2 suspects who were seen in the area. She was attacked with a frying pan, suffered some serious injuries to her head that required hospitalization. About 3 weeks later, just over 3 weeks later, while she was staying with relatives in Wasaga Beach, that's when these men, 3 black men in a vehicle that police have described in some detail, approached the home, basically forced their way in and disappeared with her, drove off. That is the last time anyone has seen Elnaz Hajtamiri.
It is at this point that, despite appeals for information on the vehicle from Elnaz's abduction or any person involved in either incident, there has been no information to provide either a motive or a rationale for these crimes. No ransom demand has been made.
Now, also today in court in Collingwood, just after 9 o'clock this morning, there was a court appearance, at least by his lawyer, of a man named Mohamed Lilo. He is of Montreal. He has been charged with criminal harassment of Elnaz Hajtamiri. They had been dating at some point. The charges he faces were laid just in the middle of January, on January the 21st, not long after she was abducted. He so far is not facing any charges relating to her disappearance, but he is charged with criminal harassment. His next court date is April the 26th.
And I haven't found any updates since then. I can't find anything else. Like, what happened? And then, what? Karen was saying the main account dedicated to finding Elnaz makes a tweet every day. Exactly. So please go on there, guys. I've been also sharing it like crazy over here. So if we go onto Twitter, fine. Oh, wait, it's bring Elnaz home. Here we go. This is it. Bring Elnaz home. You can follow here. This is the family account of Elnaz Hajtamiri. She was abducted on January 12th, 2022 at 8:30 p.m. by 3 black men dressed in police gear but not uniforms. They've also got a GoFundMe, which I put in the description box, which is here. They've raised $4,908, and they say it's been over 3 months since Elnaz's abduction. The family wants to put up missing persons billboards in Ontario, Canada. The OPP said 37-year-old Elnaz Hajtamiri was taken from her home on January 12, 2022 at 8:30 p.m. by 3 armed black men dressed in police gear, but not actual uniforms, who claimed to be there to place her under arrest. OPP say the suspects are 3 black men who fled in a white SUV. Police say the men are considered armed and dangerous and are concerned for the woman's safety. Elnaz Hajtamiri is a beautiful young professional abducted from a relative's home in Wasaga Beach North at Trailwood Place. So if you're in that area, you know what to do. On January 12th, it's been over 3 months and the police still do not know her whereabouts. Yes. So that is that there. So yeah, if you follow on Twitter, you could follow me as well at Grizzly Gisela, because I tweet a lot of these cases as well. Sometimes I can't cover, of course, all the cases, so I do tweet a lot of them and I make TikToks as well if you want to see some more case coverage there. So yeah, I would highly recommend following this. And then there was also Bryan Vladek Hasel is also here on Twitter, so you can see that. And the one we're going to look at next, the next case, unfortunately, I haven't found a Twitter or anything for him, but we'll look at that in a moment. Definitely the boyfriend's involved. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know that. I know, right? Never let them take you, fight, scream, run, whatever. Never comply with being taken. I mean, yes, that's the thing. Sometimes that's what, like, in abduction cases, a lot of those victims have survived by being compliant. But I feel like the initial, never let them take you. I understand what you're saying here, Bill. Fight, right? TikTok, you don't stop. Damn. Oh, thank you. Karen E says your TikTok was great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I try to make those as well. So I want to put on the map here quickly. I won't play the map again now, but I just want to show you guys so you can see what we're dealing with. If you go, she lived in Richmond Hill, and that's where she was attacked with a frying pan. And then Trailwood Place is kind of where she was staying in this area. Wasaga Beach, Trailwood Place. So if you live anywhere in this area, Any Canadians in the house? How many Canadians have I got? Analytics don't show a lot of Canadians, huh? There's a percentage. It's about equal to South Africa, I would say. Maybe like 2 to 3% of the audience. Also, by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do that, because apparently 27% or so of everyone who watches my videos didn't click the subscribe button. And if everyone who watched my videos clicked the subscribe button, we'd be quite a lot further now with Grizzly count. Be an official Grizzly. Hit the subscribe button. Okay. Tamiri, I'm Canadian. Cool. Yeah, she was overpowered. I mean, 3 men as well. Wow. Bite his ears off. Wow, he won't need them when he's gone. Oh, damn. Biting. Dana says, I will fight a bullet before going to the second spot. Yeah. Damn. There's also like coping mechanisms in stress, right? There's fight or flight is what people usually know about. There's fight, flight, freeze, and the fourth one no one ever talks about is dissociate. And that's all like almost like learned coping mechanisms from trauma, right? So fight or flight would be generally, are you fighting or are you flighting? What are you doing? But then there's also freeze. That's when it becomes like a compliant thing. And then there's dissociate as well. Wow. Or fawning. True. This is true. There's fawning as well. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze, dissociate. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze, dissociate. 5 of them. Exactly. Wow. All right. So let me take this off and now we can look at the next case. So please continue to share. Hashtag bring Elnaz home. There we go. This is the number and everything that you can call. I've also put it in the description box as well as a link to the GoFundMe. So for instance, if you were going to buy the missing persons case awareness merch, possibly we could maybe select this case and help with those billboards. Just even, I know it will be a small donation. You know, I'm just like one creator here with a small-ish community, but we do our best, and maybe we could make a donation or two, you know, to these families in need. Absolutely, in need. You finished watching the VIP party, catching up on Patreon. I'm so glad you love it. And before we move on to the next case, I'm not really trying to plug everything all the time. I'm actually just trying to take a mental break here and there because these cases are very, very intense. On Patreon, I recently also shared my latest Dexter watercolor. Okay, if you're interested in that. I'm not an amazing artist, but I do love art. So I share those on there as well. Exactly. You can't say how you'd react if you haven't been in the situation yourself. And yeah, that's one of the things I struggle with too. Because I'm one of those that complies or dissociates, and that's a problem. Then you afterwards beat yourself up for it. Like, why didn't I? But you can't. You just don't know how you're going to react to survive. You know, what are the circumstances? So yes, okay. So now what I want to show you. Let me just quickly get my ducks in a row. Hold on one second, please. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for bearing with me. I was just checking what else is going on. The monsters are now bad. Got the same sense of humor as me. Okay, so now we're going to look at the next one, which is Timothy J. Perez. I did a YouTube short on this the other day, so you might have already a little bit heard about this. I actually filmed a whole video, and then at the end, I just wasn't too sure about one little piece of information that I thought, oh man, I don't know about this now. But then I've been talking to one of Timothy's friends. Thank you so much. She's a Grizzly and OG. Apparently one of the first 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So she sent me this case. So thank you so much to Rose for sending me the case. I was a little confused about one thing. So we've been chatting about it on email, and now I've got it all clear. So now we can go ahead and look at the case. So I understand it completely. Fawning, if people are asking what fawning is, yeah, it would be complying. It would just be go along with anything they say. Yep, compliant, appease or save yourself. Exactly. Yep. If you had narcissistic parents, you know all about fawning, right? My girlfriend in South Africa just said good night. Cute. What? Okay, I don't think I'm familiar with Timothy. I may have tweeted him. There are so many. Okay, so let's get into this one. Timothy J. Perez, 31. This one won't be too long. Okay, I did a short on it to cover it, and here I'm just gonna let you guys know what's happening in this case. So he's been missing since March 5th, 2022, in the Austin, Texas area. These are pictures of him. The one on the right is an updated photo, is what they shared on the flyer. Right? We're going to look at that more in a moment now. You said both my parents were narcs. Mine too. My mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmother, grandparents and all. Everybody. Sure. It's quite hectic to survive those, huh? But yeah, especially, whoa, my mom, oh my word. Okay, moving on. So we're not going to Trauma Town. We do that sometimes on Patreon. Moving along. So missing person, Timothy J. Perez. He is from Conroe, Texas, so keep that in mind. They say here updated photo, so that's the photo I showed you just earlier on the right. Now, I know this flyer, the print is not so big, so don't worry, we can get into it. On the right-hand side, I've made it bigger. The little box from the left-hand flyer is on the right now. Name, Timothy Perez. Date missing, 3/5/2022. Austin, Texas. Date of birth, 6/3/1990. 31, his hair, black, 6'2", 180 pounds, is what they say there, so slim to medium build, I suppose, right? Dark brown hair, a dark brown eye color. He's male, Hispanic, medium complexion, and the police or sheriff is the Austin Police Department. I will share some more numbers as well in a moment. You can call 512-974-5000 if you spot him. There's the officer's case number, which you can screenshot and share now, or just come back to this episode anytime you need to. And the EquiSearch case number. So EquiSearch is on it. That's the thing to show here. Because a lot of times when we look at these missing persons cases, the first thing that most of us ask is Bryan Enton on it? Is Bryan Enton on it? The second question we ask is EquiSearch on it, right? So yes. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading about you guys saying about all the narcissists, right? Yeah, my mom and ex-boyfriend, a narc. Oh yes. So, okay, let's continue on with this. Here I am again. That little box that I've said there, we will read in a moment. Wait, let me just quickly see what it said there. So they said a sighting of Timothy Perez is confirmed in Round Rock, Texas. We're going to go in more detail now, so let me just read it quickly to you. They say a photo taken of him on Saturday is included. Do not approach. Please contact law enforcement if seen. So that's interesting. I don't know why they think do not approach. I don't know. 31-year-old Timothy James Perez of Conroe, Texas was last seen in Austin, Texas on March 5th, 2022. He has shoulder-length black hair, brown eyes, a medium complexion, and a long beard. Timothy's last known location was near the intersection of the I-35 and West Palmer Lane in Austin. It is unknown what clothes Timothy was wearing at the time of his disappearance. If you've seen Timothy Perez since his reported disappearance, and if you know of his current whereabouts, or if you have any information whatsoever concerning Timothy's disappearance, please call the Austin Police Department, and the number I'll put on screen now as well. It's on the right-hand side too, or Texas EquiSearch. So you can also email info@texasequisearch.org. So there is that as well. Timothy is a professional musician who went to Baylor University on a full scholarship. He was feeling depressed after losing his business during the Rona. You see, the Rona really caused a lot of depression, man. Oh my word. Okay, so feeling depressed after losing his business during the Rona, but did not have a history of mental illness or any run-ins with law enforcement. Timothy's father, Robert, said that he was driving to Austin, Texas to visit his brother. So Timothy was driving from Conroe, which is near Houston. He was driving to Austin, Texas to visit his brother. He called his dad around 1 a.m. to say, "Dad, come get me, I'm lost." He then hung up and was never heard from again. His car was found at 4:20 a.m. on Saturday, March 5th. So that's not very long after. 3 hours, 20 minutes later. Wow. The police just found his car abandoned along the I-35 near Palmer with no gas in it. So they said the engine was cold and there was no gas in it. Yes. And Ellie, I agree with you. It's hard to recognize a narc until you've experienced one, even... I agree with you. It's hard. But once you know them, then you can spot them. There's unfortunately quite a lot of them, huh? Okay, Timothy was last seen in the Round Rock area on March 6th. So that's interesting, you see, because it's It's not March 5th. They're talking about March 6th here. On March 6th, the St. William Catholic Church called the police to report a man loitering in the area. So this case feels so similar to Vladek's case, right? He refused to identify himself, but then was later identified as Timothy J. Perez. The BOLO, the Be on the Lookout, was not issued yet. He was issued with a criminal trespass warning and has not been seen since. Eerily similar to Vladek's case. He's not different area, of course, I'm just saying. His phone pinged in Conroe, Texas. His phone pinged there? In Conroe, Texas, where he's from, the place where he was originally driving from, on March 16th. It's like 10 days later. It was allegedly turned on only for a brief moment before it was turned back off. His phone has not been located. At the time of his disappearance, Timothy did not have his ID with him, only his cell phone, which is worrying because it makes him that much harder to identify if he's found. His dad said if he goes missing, like he's going to be a John Doe because he doesn't have ID on him. That is what he was saying there. So I guess maybe that's also why he didn't want to identify himself, or he was saying he's refusing to show ID because he didn't have it. And maybe he didn't want to say, well, I don't have it, you know? His dad worries that he has suffered a mental breakdown and has lost his way. He says that APD received 2 calls with reports of a man who said he was lost in the area later that morning, but the police did not respond to the scene. So that sucks. I know, right, Bill? I also thought that. In the past, the church would have reached out to him. Now they worry about security. Right? Wow. Yeah, so many people were or are negatively affected by the Rona. And yes, red flags for narcs. Always listen. He's 31 years old. Okay, so note, Tim's family has said that there has been a huge reporting error. See, this is what I was talking about. I came across a sentence on a blog somewhere that said that the police contacted him for a welfare check, and he said, no, he's fine. And so the investigation is no longer ongoing, but they say that's false. Tim was not contacted by the police. Reports say he was and said he was okay. And this information is harming the investigation. Please share Timothy's case. He needs to be located. So even if he did go on purpose, which I don't know what to think of this case at all. Still, he needs to be located. His family needs answers. I know adults can go on their own, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here, but I'm not too sure. I just want to share this missing persons case, and I really, really hope that they can find him. I'll show you a video about this in a moment as well. He does look like the image on the Turin shroud. Yes, if you have any information that could lead to finding Tim, please call either the Austin Police Department 512-974-5000 or the Houston Police Department Missing Persons Unit at 832-394-1840 or EquiSearch 281-309-9500. A private investigator is also working on the case. You can contact him at 512-844-7933. There is a link in the description box to EquiSearch's page about Timothy, where you can then download the flyer so that you can help either spread awareness on social media, or you can actually print the flyers out so that you can pass those around. Please keep a lookout for him. This is him singing over here.
She's the best witch, watching Harry Potter, feeling fine like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch. I'll be watching Harry Potter, feeling fine like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch. I'll be watching Harry Potter, feeling fine. Sitting on Nimbus 2000 with all these houses finding butterbits on, cause we got all this money and green God's bank. Dark mark in the sky, dead Peter's trying to harm us. When the better come quick with the flip of the stick, or I'll jump with the Expelliarmus. Oh yeah, Ravenclaw, know what's up. Put your arms up. Put your arms up. Put your arms up. Put your arms up. With these muggles all around me, they be acting like they drunk. I'll be standing in line, dressed like a wizard. Broken glasses in my eyes, got the figures out of Hermione's wand. She's the best witch, watching Harry Potter, feeling fly like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch, like it's Quidditch. I'll be watching Harry Potter, feeling fly like it's Quidditch, Quidditch, like it's Quidditch. I'll be watching every pilot feeling fine like it's Quidditch. Thank you. It's a song I found on YouTube.
I think he has a beautiful voice. I really like the performance as well. So just again, a reminder that 20% of all profits from this collection will be donated to families of missing persons who need some help. I'll be sharing this every single Monday. Every single Monday, we're going to cover missing persons cases because I'm very passionate about doing that. And I really hope that we can make a difference. Okay, yeah, seeing Stephanie, exactly. Seeing video makes it all more real. Someone's loved one, he has a soul, right? He has a very nice voice, and his family and friends are absolutely distraught, of course. So let me just put myself back on screen here. Remove this for a second, and we'll quickly look at this video so that you can also see his family talking, and then we'll wrap it up.
Conroe man, they're asking for your help. 31-year-old Timothy Perez has been missing since early March. He was last seen in the Round Rock area just outside of Austin. Brittany Ford spoke with Perez's family. I'm sure they need answers, Brittany.
Well, Mia, they do, and I'm told that Timothy's phone recently pinged back here in the Conroe area. Now Texas EquiSearch and his family are hoping to put some more eyes and ears out there here in the Houston community in hopes to bring in some leads. It's been a little over a month since 31-year-old Timothy Perez was last seen. What I think I read March 5th?
March 5th. He's been missing since March 5th.
Timothy's father, Robert, says he was driving to the Austin area to visit his brother when his car was found abandoned along I-35 near Palmer. He says Timothy was last seen in the Round Rock area, potentially trying to get help.
He got lost in Austin, Texas, winded up he winded up walking to, he had car trouble, ran out of gas, and left his car there in North Austin and walked to Round Rock.
And there was confirmation from Round Rock police that he had been sighted on March 6th. And they had actually taken a photo. At the time, though, the bolo was not out, so it was not known that he was a missing person.
And while he was last physically seen in the Round Rock area, Angela Ferris with Texas EquiSearch says his phone pinged back to the Houston area 2 weeks ago. His phone has yet to be recovered.
It is bizarre. As far as I know, the phone pinged recently. His cell phone was somehow turned on and pinged in Conroe, Texas.
Timothy, a Houston-based professional musician who went to Baylor University on a full-ride vocal performance scholarship. His family desperate for answers.
I love him and I miss him. And I will forever be proud of him. He's so talented and kind.
Calling on the Houston community.
I just need eyes out here. I want to find Tim.
And I do want to mention these are the flyers that the family plan to be passing out throughout the Houston community. Anyone with any information is being encouraged to call Texas EquiSearch or Round Rock Police. But again, want to get some answers for this family and have the Houston community rally around this family. I'll send it back to you.
Let's hope for their sake someone.
We do hope that someone knows something and says something, right? And last but not least, we've got to do map time for him because this is very interesting as well. So let's put it on. I could play the map time song again, but I think I played it once and once is good, right? Okay. So if we look at this, what I found interesting, okay, let's look at this. Let's zoom out of it quickly. He was from Conroe. That's where he lives. And here's Houston. So they want flyers and awareness to be spread in Houston as well, because he could be in this area. Yeah, map time. All right. Yeah, I saw that as well. So let's tweet it up. I mean, I've made tweets, TikToks, Instagrams. So yeah, let's continue to get this case on social media. So he was from Conroe, Texas. They're looking in Houston, Texas as well. He was driving to Austin, Texas to meet up with his brother. And then he called his dad, remember, at 1 a.m. on March 5th and said he was lost. And then his dad said, just pull over, it's okay. But then he hung up and his car was found abandoned here, West Palmer Lane. Wait. Yes. I put this little pin here because they said along the I-35 and West Palmer Lane. his car was found abandoned there. And I mean, it must have been abandoned, what, kind of like on the side of the road type of thing for the police to so quickly kind of swoop in and be like, whoa, this car's abandoned. There's no gas. The engine's cold. And then be able to call the dad. Because the dad was called at 4:20 a.m. So that's interesting. They probably ran the plates and maybe got hold of the dad and like, hey, man, your car's here, whatever. Something like that. I don't know if it was his car. I'm just saying. They got hold of the dad real quick. And so the thing that I found interesting was that they say he was seen last at that Catholic church in the Round Rock area. So you can see that's pretty far north from where his car was abandoned. Let me just see how far this is. I don't want to take that off right now. Wait. Details. Details. I don't want to mess up the maps. Hold on one second. From Round Rock to West Palmer Lane. It's about 8 miles or so. So like, you know, did he hitchhike there? What happened? But the thing is, he was also last seen in the early hours of the morning at an HEB store. So I'm assuming it's this one. I don't know exactly which one, but he was like banging on the windows trying to get inside. The store was closed. He was trying to get help because he was freaking out because he was lost. So that's what people from surveillance, I'm assuming, or people around there saw. So he was seen at an HEB store. So if you think from there to there is also interesting. And then ending up around the Round Rock area, which is where he was said to be loitering outside of a Catholic church. And they called the police instead of helped him. I'm just saying, like, wow, just called the police. They're like, oh my word. And then he wouldn't identify himself. And then he got a criminal trespassing warning. And then he's not been seen again. Now, the one really scary thing that his friend who sent me the case shared with me is that this area here called Lady Bird Lake, which you can see is all along this route. You know what I mean? Like from Round Rock going back to Conroe, because his phone actually pinged in Conroe 2 or 10 days later, 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks later, 10 days later, his phone pinged back here only for a moment. Okay. So the thing is, that's strange. So if someone, okay, potentially a serial killer, I'll just say it because that's what the friend was saying, Rose, if someone was a serial killer in the area, I mean, they're operating between these two areas, possibly speculatively. You know why? Because in Lady Bird Lake, and do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and go and look up bodies found in Lady Bird Lake. And it's since around 2016, from what I can gather, many young men's bodies have been found in this lake. So I really hope that's not the case. I absolutely hope that they find him safe, well and alive, and they get the answers and everything. I just, I wouldn't actually normally mention it unless the family mentioned it to me. And Tim's friend Rose mentioned this to me, so I'm mentioning it to you because I'm like, oh my word. You know, out of the respect for the families, I don't sometimes talk about any of the dark options, but there's been a lot of bodies pulled out of this Lady Bird Lake, and it's specifically young men's bodies. So, of course, 31 can still be described as a young man, right? So in their 20s and 30s. And this lake is non-swimmable. So I think it's like quite, I don't know if it's polluted or the water's just not safe to swim in. So if there is speculation that there is a serial killer operating in this area. So that is very, very scary to think about. And I didn't even put this in my presentation because if you just look it up yourself, you'll see like, oh my word, since 2016-ish or maybe even before, a lot of missing men in the area. And I mean, Tim was vulnerable in the situation, feeling like freaking out. His car essentially broke down because he ran out of gas, and then like freaking out trying to get to places, and he didn't have his ID, only his phone. You know, he was in a vulnerable position at that point, and you just don't know. Think of, I mean, if you haven't yet read my John Wayne Gacy book, please do that. But think of Gacy, how he operated. That's exactly, he would just drive around, lurking around and finding people who were really looking to go to like a bus station or looking to get around somehow. He found the perfect vulnerable people, you know? So I really hope that isn't at all the case. I hope that he actually, because his phone pinged in Conroe, I hope somehow he got back there. This case, oh, it bothers me so much. So I really hope you'll share it because we need to make sure that this gets out onto social media, even. It's hardly on social media. So that would be great. I think there's a Facebook group. Let me quickly look. Hold on. Wait, no. I think it wasn't for this case. There's just flyers. As we say on Twitter, it's pretty much my post so far. So please retweet that a lot as well. Yeah, there's no Facebook group or anything either. Oh my word. Yes. Where was the bus station? Yes, been to Austin and Houston, unacceptable. So those are the 3 cases. Thank you so much. Casina's like, what? I know, right? Thank you so much for joining me here for my very first Missing Person Monday. I hope that you, even though it's sad and scary, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. So if you do give a thumbs up, know that you're giving a thumbs up for my presentation of these cases. If the families and friends watch this, I hope that I showed you the kindness, love, and respect that you absolutely deserve. The Grizzlies have your back. This community has your back. And we will continue to share their stories. Of course, Grizzlies, if you find any updates on these cases before I do, you know what I mean? Like if you find something like, and you're like, oh my word, you remember you covered that case? Please send it to me because you never know, because I'm going to be covering lots of cases. You can email me at grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Send me also missing persons cases that you would like me to cover. Again, I can't promise I can cover all of them. Of course not. I'm just one person and I'm doing this every single Monday. In between here and there, I do make TikToks and share on Twitter and things like that. So follow me there. And yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Rochelle Pranzo. I'm very happy to be doing this. Monday, Missing Persons Case Awareness is a big success today. Thank you so much. I know that those families absolutely need, of course, so many missing persons cases, deserve so much media coverage. So please continue to share that. Thank you so much, Chris from the Monsters Under Our Bed. The time now, what is the time? 12:30 Eastern time is 6:30. In the next 90 minutes, the Monsters Under Our Bed is going live as well, and I'll be on his channel tomorrow. So Tea Time Tuesday is happening on my second channel. That'll be, I've set it for 9 o'clock my time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern time for tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be on the Monsters Under Our Bed at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so I'm going to do a Tea Time Tuesday on my second channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a second channel. It's called Grizzly Antidote. So I'll show you now in a moment. Thank you so much, Bill, for your $2 super sticker. Thank you so much for all your support. I will get some rest. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Peter Pranzo. I'm just going to, not create a channel. Hold on. No, sorry. Sorry about that. I just want to show you one thing quickly. Yes, we want to go there. My word. Sorry for the delay now. Thank you so much, mods, as well, for being here. Hello. There we go. Okay, so this is my other channel. It's called Grizzly Antidote. So you can see latest news, Spill the Tea Tuesday. So we're talking all entertainment news, drama, all that celebrity news, all kinds of stuff here. It's completely different to what I do here on Grizzly True Crime, which is why it's called Grizzly Antidote. So I'll be live every single Tuesday, normally at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So you could be here on, I think it's Sundays and Mondays, depending on what you vote. So go to the community tab afterwards and vote so that we know exactly which day I'm going to do the crime catch-ups. And then Mondays, Missing Persons Mondays, and Tuesdays, I'll be here on Spill the Tea Tuesdays, okay, on Grizzly Antidote. So if you haven't yet subscribed there, go over there as well. We talk about everything other than true crime over there. So I find it's a very nice little balance, you know? It just balances things out a little bit energy-wise, you know? So yes, thank you so much. You say thank you, Ruth, for Missing Person Monday. It's my absolute pleasure. That is a question too. How can the police not have searched the woods? 400 acres is not Yosemite National Park. I know, right? There's a lot of good questions you guys asked, and I have the same questions in all 3 cases we covered today. I'm like, wait, what? So yes, thank you so much, K8R, Cater. Thank you so much. Thank you again, mods, members, patrons, subscribers. If you haven't yet subscribed, do that. Hit the thumbs up, the bell, the comments, and if I'm still awake, I'll be in the live stream chat on the Monsters Under Our Bed in the next 90 minutes. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow on my second channel, and then after that on the Monsters Under Our Bed, talking about the Delphi case. Maybe you want to do some homework if you're not up to speed on the Delphi case. Check out my playlist for that. And best mods ever. I agree. Best mods ever. We need a full stop between each of those. Best mods ever. Absolutely. I hope you guys are well. I hope that you have a very good start to the week. I look forward to seeing more of you on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, and all these other places where I have social media accounts. Stay safe, lovely Grizzlies. Absolutely. Stay safe. Stay snarky. Be mindful of those red flags. Keep it grizzly and all that. Thank you so much. And let's play our favorite outro.